teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time, big time, big time. Big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of signs, smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar signs. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Got it in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Ysn Power Hour right here from our world headquarters in East Palestine, Ohio. We welcome you into the show. Today's show, we have a very special guest, guy that's very near and dear to my heart, the head baseball coach of the Canfield Cardinals. They're in for a big season this year, or so everybody seems. Gary Knittle is our guest, by the way. Gary's going to be very standoffish of the team this year, as he always is. He's a modest guy. I'm going to try to bring the most out of him because we're all excited for Canfield baseball this year. There is a lot going on. They're going all over the place to play some of the best teams in the entire country. We're excited for that. We'll have it all right here on your sports network. We interview the head ball coach in just a few minutes. But first, we have to get to our Today in Sports History, and a little special because there is a little bit of a local tie-in with this one. On this day, February 17th, it was in 1974, it was Richard Petty, the first driver to win back-to-back titles at Daytona, his 5th Great American Race title. And this weekend, the Daytona 500 takes place, and our very own Youngstown State Penguins baseball team will be down there. We'll be sending the living legend himself, Richie Giuliano, the best voice on the entire network, will be down there covering the YSU baseball Penguins. So thought that was a nice tie-in. Congratulations to Richard Petty in 1974. Again, the first driver to ever win back-to-back titles at Daytona. All right, so without further ado, because I promised him as much FaceTime as possible, because he does have the best haircut in the entire coaching platform. Gary Knittle, and I preface this as you were a coach first, you were a teacher and an announcer. Obviously, you do stuff for YSN too, and you do one hell of a job with all that stuff. But above all else, my friend, you are a great husband and an even better father. Talk to me about what it's like to have so many hats on at the same time and try to manage everything and keep such a high level of how you do things.
It's kind of ironic that you led with that, because that's one of the first things I wanted to touch on is I know we've had these discussions, and us coaches as head coaches and even assistant coaches, whether it's football, basketball, spring sports, winter sports, fall sports, a lot of people don't understand the time that goes into things, and we can't do it all ourselves. And it starts with, obviously my wife, Jessica, who puts up with me during baseball season. We start, in late September, and we go hopefully till June. And we talk about it all the time. She dreads baseball season. She loves it, but at the same time, she knows, especially now in February when we really get, geared up, things get a little hectic. I got a son, Cam, and my daughter, Grace, who my son plays for the Youngstown Phantoms youth hockey organization. And every weekend we're in Pittsburgh multiple times this year. He's playing baseball this year. He does next level martial arts twice a week. My daughter, Grace, just had her first competitive dance at Stambaugh this past weekend. She did fantastic. She's in cheerleading. She does gymnastics. There's only one of me, and and then when you throw baseball in there, especially here at Canfield, it's a grind. And I can't do it without her. I thank her. I know she probably won't see this, but I can't do any of this without her. And in my family, my parents can help out when they can, and her in-laws, aunts and uncles all kind of chip in because we have to. And then I'm going to piggyback off that and say, you got to thank my staff. And a lot of the guys on the staff, and some people laugh and say, boy, you just keep adding and adding and adding. Well, we were fortunate. Our booster club, we wanted the best run program in the state. That was our goal. In order to do that, we needed coaches and good quality coaches. And, our booster club has helped out, because volunteer coaches get zero. And, that Coach Havarilla, who I'm going to talk about, who's my main assistant, we started out that way. And, they got to now pay fees to go get tested and state tests and background checks and all this. And it costs money to actually coach, and we talked to our booster club, and, they understood that and said, hey, we got to give them something, even if it's a couple $100 just to offset that, and I'm going to go into the coaches, and I'm going to let you go because I want to thank them, because without any of this, my boy Rick Havarilla is going to be first on the list.
Go.
And I'm not going to say what we talked about, and he won't know what we're talking about right now.
Cheat.
But we'll see where that comes. I'm holding my end of that. But Rick Havarilla is probably the best infield coach that I've ever been around at the high school level, and hitting coach. There's not anyone better. And I was very fortunate enough when I took this job that he came with me. I had to twist his arm, and every day he thanks me every day that I brought him on. Trust me. Tongue in cheek there. Jason Morrell works with our outfielders. He does a fantastic job. Matt Weimer, a lot of people out there know, he head coach at Ysn, very decorated from his time at Springfield as well. Joined our staff this year, and he's going to handle our pitching staff. Andrew Sabella does our JV work, and he's an upcoming star. He's a young guy, but when his time comes, he's going to be ready. Steve Richards, Ryan Halleck, he's our catcher coach. David Toots, new to our staff from Lisbon. He's going to help out with our JVB team this year. And I got to thank Chance Merlin, who did our strength and conditioning in the off season. So I couldn't do it with any of those people. I mean, I needed them all in order for this to work. And I'm very fortunate and thankful.
It's an interesting, because I feel like, basketball coaches have small staffs, football coaches have big staffs, and you got baseball that's kind of in the middle there, that you can have one or the other, or sometimes you do both. Why is a staff so important? Because, for those who don't, most people that don't understand baseball don't understand all the strategy that goes into it. And you have to have coaches for specific positions. So, for instance, like, we never had a catching coach when I was coming up, but I could have greatly benefited from a catching coach and somebody that understood what you're going through when you wear the tools of ignorance. Everybody's got a pitching coach naturally. Infield coaches, not necessarily there. Outfield coaches, not, sometimes it's tied up in 3 guys. And sometimes you have the fortune that like you do, to have guys that are specific, and you can really get these kids that one-on-one attention that they deserve. How much value is that for you to have these guys that can give your kids that one-on-one value, and they can see them grow pretty much from inning to inning.
You know, you made a good point. You know, when I got my first head coaching job at Liberty, we had two coaches. It was myself and Kyle Penrod and Ron Taylor. Over the years, they kind of rotated in, and it was difficult. You know, we only had two teams. You know, I added when I took over, it was just a varsity team, but we added a JV team because it was needed. We had to build the program, and it was tough. And I was young and, you know, young and dumb, and I could do a lot more things. The older I get, you know, I can't throw BP as long as I did when I was 26. I'm not going to say how old I am, but add about 20 years there. But, you know, schools make it work at whatever level. Now, at Canfield, we're fortunate. We have three teams. So you kind of need those guys, and you need, you know, and by the way, when I say Jason Morrell's an outfield coach, he's not just the outfield coach. He works with the outfielders, but we all, you know, work one way or the other. You know, I stay away from hitting. I was a pitching coach when I first started, so I leave that to Rick and Jay and Coach Weimer and some of the young guys. But, you know, you just got to find the right fit. And it's not just about getting a guy. You know, everyone like, oh, you know, I see some schools out there, some big programs that were struggling to find coaches this year. You know, because you want to get the right guy. You just don't want to bring in a guy, you know, because you don't know what their motives are, if they're into it. You got to buy in order to come to our program. I was talking to somebody from PBR, because we're going to go, Coach Weimer and I are going to go throw BP for a showcase this weekend. And I said, a prerequisite is you got to be able to throw some BP. You know, you got to go throw some quality BP because, you know, you're no use to us if you can't throw BP. You know, it's those type of things that we really focus on at Canfield.
And I think it's interesting because you talked about kind of the growth, but you also talked about the buy-in. There's a lot of people that are bought into this program this year. You made a lot of waves last year, didn't get to where you wanted to go ultimately. But I think that's it's hard to say it's a good road bump in the road, but sometimes those are needed to be launching points for something better. And I think you guys are set up this year very, very well. And it might not be a one-loss season this year. It might look a little different because you're playing a lot of nationally ranked teams this year. G, talk about that.
You know, that was something I wanted to talk about, obviously. Well, we open with you know who.
We can say Salem. They're one of us.
You can. I'm not. But I do coach. I talked to Coach DeBar just yesterday. We were texting, and great guy, doing a great job out there. And you know, we're in the process of, you know, maybe them and South Range coming. They have a game scheduled on April 30th, and we're looking at. It's called the NICU Classic, and they do a great job. It started up in Ashtabula, Portage, and Stark counties, and I talked to the coach at Lake who put this on. It's a long story, but his son was born premature, was in the NICU unit, and it's something he started a couple years back. And you know, Coach DeBar was the first one that reached out and said, hey, you know, if you want to host something at Canfield, you know, I'll talk to Coach Hannick at South Range, and we'd love to come out there. And, you know, that's just how Mike is. He's a great guy, and I love to see them doing well, just not when we play them. But, you know, we open with Salem, which is going to be, you know, a meat grinder. And then we go right into league play. We got Fitch twice. Then we're playing in that national tournament up. It's the best of the best up in Sandusky. We got invited as one of the top 8 teams in the Northeast area. Walsh Jesuit will be there. Maslin Jackson's in it. Akron Hoban, state champ, St. Ed's, Division I, Oregon Clay. And it's a tournament, and it's a 2-day tournament. We're playing up there, and then Monday we're back at it. We got Boardman twice within the league. And by the way, you know, I see Mark Rock Fitch. Fitch is going to be, you know, we had some tight ball games with them last year. And, you know, Joe Roth's, I know what we're getting out of Joe. Love him. I'm so happy for him, you know, him being an Akron commit. But, you know, then we get, like I said, we have Boardman. Then we have Hoban at Gilmore Academy. We got Erie Cathedral Prep. We're playing at Kent State this year. And then we go down to Ripken, down in Myrtle Beach. And playing some teams down south. Brunswick we have on the schedule, Chardon, Solon, Menor, you name it. They're on our schedule this year. And, you know, we wanted it that way. And Akron Hoban was the blueprint last year. They at one point they were 8-8. We played them early in the year and we got the best of them, but they went on a run and they were proven. Their schedule made them what they were come playoff time, and that's what we're hoping to do this year.
And that's the
Not
funny
that our
thing
schedule was weak last year.
No,
no, it was tough. I'm not going to lie, but this year we kind of tried to take it. We put it out there. We'll play anyone, anytime, anywhere, and we were lucky to get some people that stepped up. So,
and you still had that mentality last year. That hasn't changed. I mean, there were rain out. I mean, the cancellations over the last 2 years. We'll talk about that in a moment. But you really adopted the hey, listen, we'll play in a sandlot if we have to. We're just trying to get games in, get your kids experience, because you have a group of very young, well, used to be young. Now a lot of them are juniors and seniors, that you're looking at. You've got, a handful of D1 commits and guys that really, that part of their, that part of their history is over, the recruitment process. Now they want to go and win a state title together and go on, right out into the sunset and go their separate ways. For you, that has to be, I don't want to say a dream come true, but that's got to be a great, great motivator for you to say, listen, guys, you get one shot at this. This is it.
And once again, boy, it's like you read my mind today, what I wanted to talk about, because you're leading
all
me right
minds
into these.
Alike, right?
I guess it is what it is. But, first off, I got to, we do have a lot back this year. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to Lou Holtz it right now when it comes to that, because it's out there. But we lost a lot of key parts, some key seniors. Don Magliocca's down at Miami University playing Division I baseball and killing it down there. Vinny Machuga was an all-league catcher for us last year as a senior. Your boy, Vinny. Gianni Gaetano, Alex Iannazero, who was our unsold hero last year. He got DH for a lot, but he played third base, and he was an everyday third baseman for us who didn't commit an error all season. Chris Samarone, Crazy Chris. We're going to miss those guys. There's no mistake about it. And, you talk about young and dumb. I used that last year. I didn't know what – we had a lot of young sophomores and juniors in that lineup in the meat of our order and on the mound. But they went out there and they were young and dumb. Now they're seniors. And like you said, this is we've had this talk. This is our run, and they have a commitment to winning a title this year. And I love it. But in the back of their heads, they understood last year they had this next year. They don't have that this year. This is it. So, for that senior class, and we only got 6 seniors this year. Landon Beitelcheese committed to Ohio State, an absolute freak on the mound. Ryan Petro, who is going to play Division I baseball whenever he decides where he wants to play. Nate Shaw's committed to Wright State on the mound. Josh Giuliano, who was all world at the plate last year for us in the leadoff spot. And Jake Gerdick, who was a junior last year, was our closer, and he's going to come into a starting role this year. And I expect big things out of the big guy on the basketball court, but also when he transitions to baseball. And then Brock Baker, who's going to pitch some innings for us this year out of our senior class. It's not a huge senior class, but it is a deep senior class, and we're really excited.
Well, the talent is there. And what's crazy is there's still some people that don't recognize those names that will be, I promise you, everyday names in about 3 weeks or so. When we get things kick started, and I'm fortunate enough that Richie is going to be on the road with YSU a ton. So that opened up a vacancy in Cardinal country that yours truly gets to fill. So I'm excited to be a Cardinal this year. I got the Cardinal hat ready to go. I fully expect a new one, given how much time and resources that I'll be flying. Well, with Sandusky, I'm going down to I'm making it sound like it's a terrible thing that I get to follow one of the best baseball teams all over the country. But honestly, I'm excited because you've got AJ Havrilla, which
haven't got to the juniors. Yeah.
I mean, he's just a junior. And even when people say this is your run, Gary, and I hate to be the guy that said it the first time, because I don't think this is the only bullet in the chamber, so to speak. I still think, yes, you'll have to replace guys next year, and we'll get to that next year. But when these guys move on, there is some spots to fill. But you said it, that happens this year too. I mean, you listed all those guys that you're going to miss. I feel, and you can call me crazy, I feel like this group wants to win for them, for those guys who didn't have a chance, because you were undefeated going into that game against Salem. And all of a sudden, all the hopes and dreams are crushed with one game. So I know for a fact that has not sat well in the stomach of the Canfield Cardinal baseball program.
No. And AJ Haverilla, who you mentioned, who's also an Ohio State commit, and you got Ben Slanker in that junior class, who's an OU commit at Ohio. And we got some up and coming. We're going to lose some arms, but I'm going to tell you, listen for the name Connor Miller this year on the mound. I think he's going to do big things in that junior class. Jack Davis is going to play a role in the outfield, who's in our junior class, and he might throw on the mound a little bit. There's Ethan Prout, Steven Maschek in that class that are going to play in the middle, because we do got to replace the middle a little bit, because he played a little second, a lot of second last year. He's going to go back to his home at third and play maybe a little bit of first. And then even in the sophomore class, that's our goal. We have Jake Schneider, who, you see him on the basketball court. He's a 6'6" lefty that, can play the outfield, can play first base and pitch. Michael Patelis is a sophomore who's going to start and catch those guys who he's caught last year as a freshman, and very capable. He's got a very bright future. Scotty Eaton's a sophomore in that class, a lefty, that's going to have a shot in the outfield this year and pitch for us a little bit. So, the seniors, and we've been very fortunate since I've been there, having a Dominic Polali and then passing it down, and a Braden Beck, and, passing it down to, the seniors after them, or Ricky Haverilla. And it's the Canfield way. And the seniors expect that out of the juniors. The juniors expect it out of the sophomores, and the competition just takes care of itself. They all work hard. We got to kick the guys out. And I'm not joking, from September on. Hey, coach, when can we get in? When can, it's like, hey, you gotta take a break here and there, and it just feeds itself. And if you have that senior leadership every year, and the expectations of what the juniors need to do, then it just continues on. And it's culture, and everyone talks about it, but we're very fortunate here to have the culture that we do.
Okay, perfect segue. What is the culture at Canfield? Because everybody thinks Canfield, they think you guys have the best, facilities, you have the best this, that, and the other. But you said meat grinder, and it stuck with me because you guys have to push to get those things. I mean, talking to you, we're trying to do some special things this year with the coverage of Canfield. I mean, you and your staff and the boosters have gone over and above to try to make this a great experience for kids. Talk about the culture and why it is that everybody wants Canfield, whatever, lacrosse, put it underline here. Why is it that Canfield boosters, Canfield parents, Canfield kids want the best of the best constantly, and they drive to get it?
It's twofold. It's parents' involvement, and some would say they go a little overboard at times, and they may, but that's just, them wanting the best for their kids. And, forget the whole boosters and so forth. It's a work ethic, and I've coached in different, I've coached at Liberty, I've coached at Boardman, at Solon, Springfield, South Range. And, I've been very fortunate to be in situations where the culture was good. I never really had the situation of, being in a situation where the culture was poor. It's really, these kids, they're teenagers. And if you expect something out of them, they're going to try to meet those expectations. Some coaches, and, we all know them, that it's all about the paycheck. You can ask my wife, it's not about the paycheck. I can promise you that, or else, I'd be doing this for a lot longer. But they know that we buy in, and if we're bought in, then they're going to buy in. And once again, it's the seniors onto the juniors, and it's that expectation. And, they're not going to let them get off easy, and they're going to push the juniors, and the juniors are going to push the sophomores. Sophomores are going to teach the freshmen the right way. And, we're fortunate here. I don't know how else to say it. We're very fortunate that it's a work ethic that the parents taught their kids, that if you want something, you got to go get it. It's not going to be given to you, and that's something I tell these kids. The seniors that I have, Landon Vital Cheese, yeah, he's going to pitch. Okay, I'm not going to say, oh, you got to go earn that spot. He's earned it. Nobody sees what he does. I mentioned it in an article review I had to do. Nobody sees that he drives an hour and a half, 2 or 3 times a week to go do instruction up in Cleveland or in PA. Nobody sees that. They just say, oh, you got a kid that throws 95 and this and that. Like, no. You need to know what these guys do. Nate Shaw, if you would have saw what he has done, and the work that he puts in over this past year, it blows me out of. I mean, when I was in high school, what he's doing, I wasn't that dedicated. I'll be honest. Like, they are dedicated, you know, and it shows and it pays off, and they deserve it. They do. They deserve all the accolades they get. They've earned it. It hasn't been given to them.
And they want more. And that's the thing that I love about it. And that's the thing what gets me so excited. They want more, and especially going into this year. All right, we got a question here from Chris Sigler. He says, "What's up, Knittle? What's the one thing about baseball related that you cringe about as the season approaches? And what does what do you do away from the field to just relax during the season? Go Cards."
What's up, Chris? I talked to DJ about you not too long ago, and saw how you guys got hooked up and where you came from, and getting part of this whole YSN thing. And I had to tell him, you know, some PG stories back in our college days. Let's see. The first part, what do I cringe at, is look out the windows. That's what I cringe at, is we're in Northeast Ohio, and we're at a huge disadvantage when it comes to other places in the state of Ohio, whether it's down south. You know, when we go down to, there are teams in Florida, they've started their season already. They're playing games down there, high school games. We gotta, you know, you could have all the facilities in the world and this and that, but when there's snow on the ground outside, you can't get outside. And that's with baseball, you got to be outside. It's not basketball, you know, it's not an indoor sport where you can, you know, you got to be out on a field. And we're not going to get on a field probably until the week before our season starts, if we're lucky. So that's my cringe. Number two, what do I do to relax? Ask my wife. Nothing. You know, there is no relaxing during the season, and that's the thing, that there's always something else, and we're always looking ahead. You know, what we do relax as a staff, which is nice. We do get together, you know, when we do have that opportunity to kind of go get some dinner after a game, but it's very rare. I saw the smile before you even put that one up. I knew something was coming. What's up, Lanner? Good luck this weekend. Looking forward to watching you this year. I'm excited for you. Not looking forward to see your brother. But it should be fun. You know, this is what's fun. This is what I love about coaching is, you know, for those of you that don't know, Lane Rhodes from Salem, who's at YSU now, and, you know, got to build a relationship with him, and what a great young man he is. And, you know, I expect great things out of him. And it's those type of things. It's the relationships you build, not just within Canfield, but from places I've coached before. Coach Halleck was a player of mine at Liberty, and I brought him in on staff here. Lane, you know, any day he wants to hang it up and wants to come coach at Canfield, I'm sure that would go over really well in Salem Nation. But he would absolutely have a home working with our pitchers, because he's as intense as it comes on the mound. And, you know, that's, I guess, the answer to relaxing. There's not a whole lot in season. It's not until the summertime. And even then, there's probably no relax. Ask Coach Havrilla that.
We're gonna get into the Gary Knittle off the field when we come back from break, because I feel like we've delved into a lot of the baseball side of you. Want to get into that the natural side of Gary Knittle. Maybe not exactly what he does to relax, but the movies he watches. How much film do you watch? I know that you are a junkie when it comes to stats and things like that. You're heavy into numbers and spray charts and things of that nature. We're going to get into all the coaching side of that, and also the family guy. You know, you talked about your kids. What do you guys like doing together? I know that you recently took a trip, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll talk about that and a lot of other things. We come back. Get your questions in for GKnit right here at the comments section, and we'll take a break. Be back right after this on the YSN Power Hour with Gary Knittle.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times. But because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense, to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, We do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
So I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour for this Thursday. We're here with the GGGGGGG unit, Gary Knittle of the Canfield baseball team. And Gary, one of the cool things that I love about you is the sincerity, always. Like, you talked about how much you cared for all these kids, and we're going to get into that because there is a long list of high-profile players that you've played a pivotal part in getting them either where they went, where they are, or where they're going. So we're going to talk about that certainly. But you got two kids at home that you play a pretty doggone pivotal part. And talk to me about just what's it like between, or I guess what are the differences between being the manager or head coach of a baseball team and being daddy at home?
Good question. I'll start with my son. You know, he's playing baseball. He's 8 years old. And, he's still young. He wanted me. He loves baseball because dad coaches. That's why he wanted to play baseball to begin with. And my wife will tell me I helped him coach. The first 2 years now that he's played, and this year I got dragged in, and I will help in some capacity. But it's during our season, so it's really tough. But my wife tells me, hey, you got to step away because you're too hard on him. And I really don't think I am. But looking back, maybe I am, and kind of let somebody else, take the reins because, he gets a little nervous or whatever. But I love watching him play, and I love watching him play hockey. That's something I never played. My brother played, he played on a club team at Ohio State, and he was big into hockey, and we got him into that at an early age, and he's really taken to that. And what's nice is I don't know enough about hockey, so I get to go to those practices and games and sit back and enjoy. I don't, I get to just take it all in, and I can't say a word and just, watch what happens with him. My daughter, love her to death. She's a Sour Patch Kid. My wife and I say, she can be the sweetest girl in the world, but then she can get, she's got a little feistiness in her. I don't wonder where she gets that from. But all she wanted to do is, she wants trophies. That was her. She's 6, and she wanted to get in competitive cheerleading. Her first event, I think there was a conversation about her first thing. She won first place. It's the first time she ever did cheerleading and whatever. And she had her first dance competition. All she wanted was trophies, and they won everything that they were entered in. And, it's crazy. It's, you think these kids are 8 and 6, but, they have that mentality that, they want to, whatever they do, they want to be the best at. And, they want to please dad. And they just please dad by, being who they are. And I get a little emotional right now because, I wish I could be around them more. And, everyone talks, when am I going to hang it up here? There's discussions, and, my wife and I have the discussions because, I do want to spend some more time with them as they get a little bit older. And somebody's going to say I'm crazy to leave a program, when things are going this way. But, that time's going to come sooner than later. It just is, because family's more important to me. And don't get me wrong, I love doing this. And, I've been 21 years now as an assistant or head coach. I've done football, basketball, and golf. But, it could be time, you know,
Somebody
and
let you
I
coach
could
a
always
golf
come back when I get older.
Somebody let you coach a golf team?
We were good at Liberty. Liberty's golf coach for 6 years. I was coaching a year. I won coach of the year in golf at Liberty.
They were good. Let's
They
clear
were
that
good.
up.
Hey, I can swing it a little bit. Coach Havrilla makes me give him lessons. I taught Ricky Havrilla, basically.
Oh,
I gave him
geez.
clubs and got him. There he is. Speak of the devil. He must have known what I
is
was
he
talking
popping in?
about. He's got my clubs for crying out loud. But I did see a message on there. I didn't look at the comments earlier. Jeff Howard. Howland, I left Howland off. Go Guns, baby. I wish I could be down there, Ricky, with you tomorrow. Daddy's going down with Coach Morrell to go see the Guns down in Nashville this weekend. And, you know, Ricky Averilla, one for one on the season so far. I want to throw that out there. Batting 1,000. And I
Highest in the country.
Yes, absolutely. 1 for 1 with an RBI. You know, it's following these guys. You know, I wish I could, you know, and that's what Coach Averilla misses. And, you know, I'm glad he gets to go down to Nashville this weekend before we start up on Monday, and he'll be back ready to go. But, you know, I know that's something. And then he's going to have AJ in, you know, 2 years at Ohio State. And I know we'll probably both walk away at the same time and enjoy, you know, watching these guys at the next level and going to Canfield games and so forth. Because I'll always be a supporter, no matter what. I mean, I'm not going away. Coach Koenig is an integral part of what we do at Canfield. We stay in contact all the time. It's what we do here. And that's another thing. I got to give him credit because handing the reins off, you know, and the smooth transition that we had is phenomenal. And, you know, I couldn't do what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for Coach Koenig.
Well, and it's funny because I was just going to say we couldn't do what we do for Canfield if it wasn't for you and for Coach Havrilla. So we in Canfield Nation owe you a debt of gratitude because if it wasn't for that, we'd probably still be chasing birds all over the place. But now we get to chase them for legit reasons. We get to do it. Last question, because I know you got to get your kids off the bus.
Yeah, I do.
Talk to me about, I mean, you have been so integral in so many high-profile players around this valley. You talk about Lane Rhodes. You talk about Logan Bell. You talk about some of these kids that you have outside of Canfield even. I mean, AJ and Ricky and all these kids that you've done.
Logan Bell is another one. He's like another one of my, you know, Charles, and you know, I follow him at BG, and you could ask his dad, you know, that was when he was going through the recruiting process, he'd reach out to me and I'd try to help out any way I could. And because that's what we do. And it's not just me. You ask any, you know, there's a lot of coaches out there that would, you know, Jake Gearing at South Range going down there, Gavin Bruni when we were at Ohio State, having those connections. And it helps then with these kids that are, you know, when they go to Ohio State, you can reach out to Jake and say, hey, what's your experience is like? If you don't have those, you know, connections, it hurts the kids that want to have that opportunity. And, you know, I'll help anyone, anytime. And, you know, they know that. And my clubs got broken. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, it's this stuff. Like, I love it. I do. Like, you know, and it's lifelong relationships. And you're in the same boat. You know, you do this. It's a business, but it's also you've made a lot of friendships, and you've helped me out in more ways than one. And if I could ever help you out, you know I will. And that's what makes this world go around, right? The more you can help others and you know, they can help you, it's only going to benefit both of you, both parties. So
no doubt. Well, Gary, we'll let you get your kids off the bus. I greatly appreciate your time. 40 minutes with you is always a joy. And this will be the standard for our coaches corners this year moving forward. So just so you know,
only downhill from now, DJ. It's all downhill from here.
Well, I hope you can talk to Ricky and about your clubs, and I hope they're all perfect prestige condition because I don't know. You got to be careful.
I don't get to use them much anymore, DJ. That's the thing. It's probably a good thing. My back can't handle it. So,
what is it with you Canfield people and your back when you and Quinn, he can only do about 6.
He's too young to be saying that. You know, I got an excuse. I'm throwing probably 1,000 BP sessions in. I couldn't even tell you. I got a reason. But he has no excuse. Oh, I'll tell you.
He's got an excuse for everything. We love Quinn. We love you.
Love
we
Quinn.
appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. We greatly appreciate it. You always bring a crowd. So thank you for all you've done that everybody knows about, and the stuff, Gary, that you've done for us and me personally that people will never understand. Just never understand. We appreciate you, brother.
You got it. Thanks, DJ.
There he goes, the legend himself, Mr. Gary Knittle, a guy that, it was a quick blooming friendship. Gary and I, we go back a ways, but I will tell you this, that at the end of the day, I didn't know Gary from Adam, and all of a sudden he is invested in YSN to the point where he goes, listen, not only do I want to bring this into Canfield because our kids deserve it, but I want to be a part of this. He wants to talk about the kids from Canfield. He wants to talk about the kids from the communities outside of Canfield and give them a high-quality broadcast. He's usually teamed up with Richie Juliana, which another Canfield kid, which is, again, one of the things that we love doing is giving that flavor of authenticity back to the community that we're performing for. And the thing that I love most about Gary Knittle is he is always sincere. Always sincere. Yeah, he can chop it up with the boys, and he can chop it up and joke around whenever there's time for it. But when it's go time, when it's time to really not press the panic button or hammer down and business needs to be done, Gary Knittle is one of the best leaders this area has, and it's for reasons that you saw today. He doesn't take credit for anything, but he has his hand in everything. He's quite simply the straw that stirs the drink. And while I'm sad that he's looking forward to and counting, not necessarily counting days, but looking to trim his coaching career, I know why he's doing it. He's doing it for the right reasons. He's doing it to be the family man and to be the leader of that family. And he and Jess and the kids are just great people. And he's the kind of guy that if you see him at a store or a grocery store or a hardware store or whatever it is, he's the kind of guy that'll ask you how you're doing and wait for an answer. And we don't have that much anymore, and he's a great community guy. He's, again, just a very, very one in a million style leader that I would love, someday my kid to play for if he ever gets back in to the coaching circuit. Hopefully he stays. Hopefully he thinks things back over, but his kids just deserve him more than anything. So we appreciate Gary coming on the show today. Always my favorite. Tomorrow, a very special treat for everybody. Logan Bell. We talked about him during the Gary Knittle interview. Went to Lisbon High School. He was a 3-sport athlete. He was All-State 3 years in a row in baseball, and now he's at Bowling Green by way of Akron. So we're going to talk to Logan about what the transfer was like, what life is like now as a college athlete, a D1 college athlete. We're going to talk to him about a lot of stuff, about family. I mean, he's got you talk about great families. This is 2 in a row, back-to-back days. We got great families with the Knittles and then with the Bells. We're going to talk to him about who's the most competitive person in his family, who's the most compassionate person in his family, which I'm sure we're going to get some great answers for. And we're just gonna play straight with Logan because he's at that point in his career going into, I believe, his 3rd season. With the COVID shortened year and all of that stuff. 2nd season with BG, a 3rd season overall as a college athlete, and we're just gonna pick his brain because nowadays in sports, it's funny to think that everybody thinks they want to go play college sports, but they realize quickly that it's not the same. It's not riding the bus and it's not three months a year. It is a 11 to 12 month around the clock job that you do in college sports. And I think hearing from these athletes, I hope it doesn't deter people, but I hope it prepares student athletes for what they want to, the goal, the vision of what they're going to have to go through in order to be what they want to be. So we'll talk to Logan Bell of Bowling Green tomorrow on the show. And then Monday, very, very excited for Monday because Steve Leslie, our own general manager, going to be in studio. We're going to be taking your questions, your comments, and we are going to to talk about Steve and his story, because it's a good one, and it's one that people need to know about. Because the reason that I'm so passionate about Steve Leslie is because he's the ultimate leader, right? He's not the kind of guy that is going to, tell you what to do, but he's going to help you do it. And we will have him join the show on Monday and pick his brain right here on the YSN Power Hour. Also, we're open to guests from you. If you guys have somebody that you want to see on the Power Hour, we'd love to have them on, profile edition or whatever, if they can give 15 minutes or whatever, we will sit down with them and chat it up, because that's what this show is now. And we're still going to get the panels and things of that nature, but don't you worry. We're going to be diving deep into student athletes, especially with baseball and softball season, track season right around the corner. We'll have some specials for you here on the Power Hour. We're going to end things a little bit early today, but we can't do so until, of course, we ended it with everybody's favorite segment. It is the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? The Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark? Presented by our friends over at DickeyElectric.com, proudly powering the Mahoning Valley for over 60 years. Head over to Joe Dickey Electric in North Lima, or of course, head over to the website digitally at DickeyElectric.com. All right, guys. So yesterday, a longer rant on pushing the score, got some feedback on that. Appreciate it, as always, naturally. But one of the things that I want to talk about today, without getting too far down the rabbit hole, is accountability. Accountability, not just on the court, not accountability in the classroom, accountability on the field, whatever platform it is, accountability, right? So most people, when you talk about accountability, you're talking about mistakes. A mistake was made somewhere along the way, and somebody has to take accountability for that action, right? But accountability can also be forwarded to actions that are in the positive. So if you are let's say you're a quarterback, right? You throw the touchdown pass. The accountability is you were the guy that launched it in the air and it landed fleshly in the two hands of your receiver. Now, I guess in the NFL, one hand of the receiver in the end zone in some form or fashion. That's accountability. That's positive accountability. Negative accountability, we all know what that is. The thing I really, really think makes good leadership, makes for a positive role model, and makes for the kind of kid, boy, girl, whatever, man, woman that wants to be recruited, whether it's for a job, whether it's for a team, whether it's for a program, is someone that takes accountability. It's big, and it's getting bigger, in every aspect of your life. You hear it all the time. It's now a buzzword, accountability. People just need to take it, right? Mistakes can be made. Mistakes are made all the time, every day, multiple times a day, by multiple people, hundreds of thousands of people, as a matter of fact. If you make a mistake, let's say that you say something that didn't mean to be said, or you didn't mean to say it, it just came out, right? In the heat of a moment, or you did something that you're not really proud of, and you don't want to fess up to it because you're afraid you're going to get in trouble. I think, and I'll always be the guy that, at the end of the day, accountability is first and foremost on my list. If you're willing to take accountability, I'm willing to forgive and forget, right? But you got to own it. You have to own that particular piece of history, that moment that you did wrong. You have to own it. We're just not willing to do that here anymore. We want to pass the buck. It's not this way because of something you did, or it's not this way because of, it's never me. It's never my fault or at my expense. It's always someone else. So I see this happening a lot more, especially in business, but I see it in sports a lot. And it's, you should have been here. You should have been here. You should have been here. You ran the wrong route, or, you said this about, listen, at the end of the day, if you're on a team and the team doesn't have accountability, where does it start? It starts at the top, right? We talked to Gary about, the culture of Canfield. If Gary didn't have accountability for his team, you'd have a bunch of just birds pecking at each other. There'd be no pecking order. But he does. He has accountability for his team. He takes he lays on the sword, right? He'll take it the same way Jim Tressel did it at Ohio State. Great leaders will take the heat. I've taken the heat, and I'm patting myself on the back. I'll take the heat for more than things. We had one today. I'm happy to stand in front of my teammates in order to make sure that they get free. They get off the hook, right? That needs to happen more. I'm not promoting myself. I'm not, and I hope you don't take that as that. People need to take more accountability. Let's just put it that way. Coaches, players, leaders, bosses, no matter where you are in the pyramid of things, accountability needs to be one of those things that is seen more within the 8-hour workday, or within the 3-hour practice, or a 3-hour game, or whatever it may be. Accountability is big. So that's my spark today. Accountability. If you don't know it, learn it, and if you don't have it, find it, because accountability is something. Whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whether you're a yes man, whatever it is, accountability needs to have ownership. We'll just put it that way. That's going to do it for our show today. Again, Steve Leslie on Monday, Logan Bell tomorrow from 3 o'clock all the way through 4 o'clock here on the YSN Power Hour. And then, of course, you can catch Running Point from 12 to 2 and the Casual Sports Podcast from 2 to 3 right here on YSN. On behalf of Gary Knittle, I thank you for tuning in for today's show. And as always, you can head over to ysnlive.com for reruns. And if you want to run back that interview, we'll have it here up shortly. Again, on your sports network and ysnlive.com. Until next time, we'll see you. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network.